Well, we are finally here. We are at the newest update for Manor. It's very, very exciting. Now, I will jump straight into it, but as always, if you want to check out Manor and its new updates before they've officially released, if you click into the betas tab, you can go into private betas and type in very nice I think baskets also got a capital. There we go. And that will unlock the beta. Then you just, it will download it, or you click pre-release. And that's basically how you can get in and join it a little bit early. But there's so much to explore here. And of course, I've played it for a few hours now, so I'll put some gameplay on in the background as we're going through everything. The first big thing, though, is being imported onto Unreal Engine 5. Now, of course, it was on UE4 before, but Epic Games have recently said that they're going to stop supporting Unreal Engine 4, which is a bit unfortunate, which meant that a lot of bugs and crashes, including one that randomly happened on a loading screen, just would not be fixed, which is one of the main reasons. But I think most people that are watching this are actually looking forward to what it actually entails rather than the reasons behind it. Well, of course, a lot of the old bugs, they're gone. Engine systems are refined, so if you place roads, the road mask no longer flickers, which is brilliant. And overall, it just does give it this fresh coat of paint that really does look just a little bit nicer. One of my main things was the fact that I couldn't at first see the huge differences between UE4 and UE5, but actually the more I played it, and especially in certain lights, I could really see some advancements. And one of the reasons here is because the lighting system actually hasn't been put in the UE5 one yet. There's also things like nanite testing, since they haven't had enough time to performance test it, which is why I think a lot of the reason is it doesn't look incredibly different. So all in all, on the surface, it does look kind of similar. I think getting down into details and the general feel of the game is more advanced. It feels like it flows a bit better. I don't know. Maybe it's just a bit more optimized, or that's Unreal Engine 5. But everything just feels a lot nicer and smoother to play around with. And of course, when it gets to the winter seasons, it looks absolutely gorgeous. I mean, lighting on the tent and things like that, beautiful. Fishing ponds have been added into the game. Now, one thing I have noticed is this is very much a random spawn, and it might not be for every single person's game. At least for every single time I loaded up the game, there was one across the whole map. But it was a new shoal of fish resource mode, and of course you could set up the fishing camps. People would go and fish, and they've got their own cool little animations. This is the new fisherman's hut. The pond will freeze in the winter, so it is a limited resource. Much like berries, you could only harvest them or use them outside of winter times. So this is something you got to look out for when you're actually going fishing, but it is a really useful resource, especially at the start. You're able to gather quite a lot very fast. And as far as I'm aware, they will replenish. Because there's only one fishing pond in the whole thing, when I actually got to the point where I spawned with a region with the fishing pond in, it was a rich resource as well, which meant that I had a ton of fresh food. Not just this though, but especially the winter fishing thing, there is kind of a loophole around it. There was an upgrade where you can use ice fishing, which essentially means that they can fish all year round, and it is one of the best food resources. It feels a little bit overpowered at this point in time. I'm sure that will be tweaked, but I think it is great. And I think adding in things like fishing, maybe there should be more than one body of water on the whole map, but hey, who cares? They do say here that fishing multiply in the spring months based on the current population, similar to wild animals, and therefore can be overfished. A fishing limit was added to make avoiding it easier. When droughts occur, ponds shrink, and the fish population is capped at 50% of its maximum capacity. Now, I didn't actually get to that point on my playthroughs, but that is another limitation and another balance to the resource. So as I mentioned, it might seem a little bit overpowered at this point in time, but hey, there is still a lot there to go for. Now, there is a nice little UI element on the menus, so you can actually check all transactions for every region that you can see on your overall trade balance. So it gives you just a better overview of trading. I mean, I haven't used it too much. I still just use the trade points for examples and things like that. But one of my favorite new additions is the Butcher's Workshop. This is one of the new artisan conversions, a bit like when you're deciding whether you want Fletchers or people that make shoes for your people. Well, you can also get a Butcher's. And this adds in our new resource as well, which is salt. Salt is very rare to come by. Now, these are very random as well, because often the maps that I was playing in, when I'm saying often the maps I was playing in, I loaded the game up about 8 or 9 times just so I could get an idea of the randomization of resource deposits like salt and the new fishing deposits as well, to give you guys a good idea. but salt can be mined if you do eventually find it, and it can turn meat into sausages at the butcher's shop and significantly reduces its spoilage. Not just this though, but it can also convert meat and hides from a surplus of livestock, which is something really interesting that we didn't have before. And I don't know how useful that's going to come into fruition, because I think a lot of the livestock is very much used 24/7 within this game. But if you decide to breed sheep, even though that they have been capped on their breeding potential now, that will probably be something that comes in later on. Food and certain crops, though, will spoil. And this was quite a controversial addition because they added it in as kind of a balance and a precaution. But if I'm going to be honest, a lot of the food in general is really hard to come by, especially at the start. You're always battling against food. Firewood seems to be able to deal with itself a lot of the time, but as one of the main resources that you need, food is something that I've never seen anybody find too easy to come by. So whilst, you know, it is an addition that they've decided, I've seen a lot of people, and I think I personally agree with them, think that it's unnecessary and actually adds another layer to the game that there was already balancing for. Let's delve into it anyway. Every type of food has separate monthly spoilage rates. For instance, fish spoil faster than bread. Different buildings also have different spoilage rate reductions. The large granary is the best, which essentially means make sure you get that upgraded as fast as possible. You probably need to do that anyway, since you run out of space quite fast with granaries. Then we have the production limits and reserves, something that I really wanted to be added in. I'm so glad that this was done. Essentially, it means that when you're doing any sort of production building, you can keep a reserve behind, whether it's the initial resource needed for that production or it's the output and what's made after it. In this example, we've got iron ore and we've got it being made into iron slabs. So, you know, they're going to always keep 16 iron ore within this building, and then any surplus will be made into iron slabs. Now, one of the best parts that I found the use for this was when you're using planks, because when you use artisan workshops, especially early game, if you're making bows or crossbows, as we'll get onto, they use so many planks to be crafted. So if you start putting them down early game and you don't have your, you know, choppers on your saw pits making planks as fast as possible, you end up running out. Then you don't have any planks left for actually building things. So a great thing about this is you can set a limit on the amount of planks that can be kept within the saw pit. So sure, all the surplus planks can be made into crossbows, but I want to keep at least 20 in the saw pit for storage, meaning that when it comes to the time that I need to build things, there's always planks there ready for use. One of the best additions that I think that has been added in terms of micromanagement. Then we get on to crossbows. Crossbows are a really nice addition. I'm so glad that they've added in more and more units. I mean, I think we're getting cavalry some point in the future, but crossbows can be produced in the bows workshop, much like alongside the bows that can be crafted. And, you know, they can be equipped to militia, who can be upgraded and armored as you'd expect. I played around with them a little bit. They seem pretty fun. They are just another unit, though, so it's not the biggest addition in the world. Not just this, though, but like any units, they can have a mercenary company. So if you have the cash, you can hire mercenary crossbows, and they are pretty professionals. I'm really glad that they've started adding new units, because I think this is what's going to advance the game and make it bigger and, well, really get people interested. I love all the mechanics, and every single bit of micromanagement and quality of life updates are really useful for people that have been playing the game for a while, and they sort of tick along in the background, making it a better experience. But stuff like this is kind of superficial on the surface, but I think is going to bring in a lot more players. And then we have some other improvements in terms of some of the icons that are made and some optimizations as well. And I've been playing around with it quite a lot. And I'm going to be honest, I've been having so much fun with this new update. It's been a while since I've stepped foot in Manor, but especially with things like fishing and more resource collecting and new units, well, there's a lot to enjoy. My experience playing with this update has actually been pretty positive. I do love the fishing. I think it's a really cool addition. And it's a little bit annoying when it freezes over, but as I've mentioned already, I got the winter fishing thing, which means I'm great now. It means I'm absolutely fine. Yeah, I know it's heavier than it looks. You don't need to keep going on about it. So they can actually just walk across the water as well, and they will actually, the AI will be coded to do it. We still use fishing rods exactly the same. But hey ho, it seems to work for them. It's also something that I want to check out very quickly, or very soon actually, should I say. So how are we going over here? So we've got a butcher's shop ready. And what they'll be doing here is we can make sausages, or we can make meat. Interesting. So a carcass will be made into meat and hides, but I'm going to get sausages, which means we need salt. Do we use different mines for salt? That is a good question. I don't think we should have to. Ah, here we go. So a mining pit is just a general mining pit that's used for iron, clay, and, of course, salt. They just don't have the icon on it yet. Where's my nearest salt deposit? Well, shit. Oh, wow. That isn't even a salt deposit on this map. That's very, very interesting. So sometimes the map will spawn just completely without salt. Oh, no, there's one down here. Okay. Oh, it's taken over. They always take the best. I know that's the point. I know that AI is supposed to take the stuff that you would want because it's always got the best resources. But it is a little bit annoying, and I wish they wouldn't do that. Oh, wow. We've started to get a few crossbows now. So let's actually set up some crossbow lads. We need to get some more people, though. But I just want to get these lads out and just have a quick look at them. Here they are. Oh, wow. Look at these lads. Look at them with their crossbows. Of course, I don't have any armor upgrades or anything like that at this point in time. That's fun. I like that. Okay, great. More units. That's always fantastic. You can go back to work, though. We don't need you right now. It has been quite a while since I've properly got stuck into Manor Lords. I think it's a game that has just been slowly ticking away in the background. And, of course, I think this update has taken a lot longer than, well, usual since it's Unreal Engine 5. And changing everything there has got to be a bit of an effort. I didn't actually know if it was going to do too much in terms of graphics and all the updates, but it actually seems like they have done quite a good amount, and actually paying attention to like lots of little details. The game does look like a lot better in terms of just general aesthetic, like the lighting, reflections, all that sort of stuff. I think it's very, very positive in terms of the change that's been put into Manor Lords at this point in time. Oh yes, Stonecutter's camp's finished. I actually don't have anyone that can work on it though. Does anyone have this issue when you like go away for a while from a save and then you come back and you like, okay, where is everything? Where's my logging camp? Oh, it's over there. It's just so confusing sometimes. Maybe it's just my little brain. It just can't comprehend that everything kind of looks similar in this little medieval village. But it does. I promise you, it just does. It all just looks very, very similar. All right, we're going to want to get another couple of burgage plots up. Well, that's 3. Wasn't what I was intending, but that will do for now. And we need a couple more of them to become level 2. I don't think... Oh, there are people living in all of these. There we go. That should be enough for our upgrades. Oh, did we build a trading post? I think I might have built a trading post, actually. No. No, I haven't. I'm yet to build a trading post. Right. Okay, well, I'll get sorted on that then. You. Bish, bash, bosh. Because I want some salt. I want to make sausages. Someone needs to be working at this again because the berries are back in. We have a lot of berries. We've got a lot of fish. Now, fish is a really good early way of getting some variety in your food, which is very different because before it'd just be hunting and berries, really. What's going on over here? Go on, lads. Get in there, boys. I can still just get so giddy every time battles clash in this game. I think it's so satisfying. They're going to go and take out that bandit camp, though. Actually, no, they're not going to go and take it out. They don't normally... Hold on. Oh, are they going to go? Oh, I think they are going to go. Before, I thought they just left the bandit camp. So maybe that has been changed where, yeah, they go down and actually capture the resources that are in the bandit camp now. Interesting. That might have been something that's always been in the game, but I've never noticed it. I've always just seen bandit camps that have been left alone without actually being destroyed fully. They just kill the bandits that were in it. But hey, I guess that is a thing in the game, possibly. Now, you are actually able to use saves over from previous updates, by the way. It's a little bit fiddly right at this point in time, so I've just started a new game in order to show everybody. But, yeah, you are actually able to do that with, well, physically moving stuff over. Right, I need to get someone working on this granary, but we kind of... Are you finished building? No, you're not. Sometimes, when places like this are full up, you need someone to come along and put it in the granary so they can carry on working. Okay, I really need a forester hut because this whole area has been demolished by my deforestation efforts. Not just that, but like, well, it's a bit of a disaster because every time we try and cut down these trees, the animals migrate and there's only so far they can go and we don't want them to move too far away. So we need to make sure we're rebuilding or replanting trees. Luckily, they do get replanted incredibly fast within this game. In fact, we've got so much. Oh, I thought I'd given you a livestock. I didn't. That's fine then. Okay, well, we've got enough, so 20 is enough, so you need to stop doing that. We don't need a reserve of planks. Just essentially because we are using up every plank that we've ever made. And the poor guy working in the saw pit, he can't keep up. He can't keep up. In fact, now we can have reserves of things. Gonna make sure we always have 20 planks in reserve. And then that means we can carry on. Once we've got our 20 planks, we can carry on with said making, well, crossbows. Brilliant. Okay. And this means that we should have 20 here at all times that shouldn't just get instantly used up. I'm really glad they added that in because, honestly, starting up something like a bow shop or any sort of one of these artisan shops meant that instantaneously you were just demolished because you'd lose every single plank you'd ever worked for. We don't need another butcher's workshop. We don't need that. That would be ridiculous. I've got quite a lot of chicken coops. I'm surprised we've not started collecting eggs yet. I guess it just needs a little bit more time, but yeah, goddamn. Is my trading post built? It is. Brilliant. So we're going to put you up here. At this point in time, we're not going to be able to afford to set up a trading route because we've just spent it all on chicken coops like an absolute fool. But crossbows. Okay, well, we don't have the price just yet. But that's going to be the first thing that we export. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to purchase that, establish a trade route. And if we establish a trade route, maybe we should wait a little bit. How long is it before we can get... Hold on, did I not just unlock a maximum of 25 regional wealth? Have I not... Hello? Game? Game? Let me trade! I've done it. It's not registered it, though. Am I doing something completely wrong? See, when things like this happen, I just assume that I'm the idiot. But honestly, I don't think I've done this wrong. Ah, yes, we're getting some eggs. Finally, the eggs have come into play. Beautiful. Oh, they're all bowmen. Oh, I thought I'd see some crossbows in action then, but no. That's a nice army, though. I like those mercenaries. They're pretty cool. Look at you. Anyway, where's the nearest bandit camp? Because they keep stealing shit from me. Can you stop stealing things from me? Oh, I think they've just taken them out. Fine. Absolutely fine. If you do the job for me, I won't be fussed. So, let's have a little look around with these guys. See what kind of stuff they can do. So, I think they're a lot more armor piercing than arrows, and hopefully a little bit more accurate. I mean, the whole point of crossbows was so that people that weren't trained to use bows, which, you know, took a lot of strength and time, could still be projectile infantry. And they look kind of badass. They do look kind of badass. I just love the addition of new troops as well, and I can't wait until cavalry is added in. That's going to be so exciting, because I think that's what's going to be coming next in terms of troops. Training up cavalry, well, it's going to be an effort. I guess that means they're going to be adding in horses? Horse stables? Horse importing? Be fun. It'll be fun. Anyway, I'm going to leave it here, but thank you so much for watching, guys. It's been a while since I've touched bases with Manor, but I think this is a really, really positive update. I think it's added in a lot of nice new things. I mean, the main features are being fishing, crossbows, and of course the upgrade to Unreal Engine 5. But there's also like quite a lot of differences with trading and that sort of stuff that will be delved into in the future. So I'm really, really looking forward to seeing where this goes. But if you haven't already, make sure to stick around the channel because there's plenty of news, especially with Gamescom on at the moment. It's very, very exciting, all the stuff coming out. And until then, I will see you in the next one.